Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's live All Things Sky Blue show. My name's Mark Smith, and our show is sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications for all your fabrication needs across Coventry and the Warwickshire area. We're also partnered with the Sky Blue Tavern, and also we're partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar as well, and also partnered with Dillon's Brewery. And last but not least, we also are partnered with the Football League newspaper, and we're also teamed up with the Sports Social podcast. So that's all the room keeping, or whatever the word is, out of the way. So tonight, obviously, we're talking about deadline day transfers, and obviously, it's not been a particularly eventful day other than the outgoings. No incomings yet. It's been announced by the club, so we'll talk more about that right now. We'll introduce our two guests. First off, we've got Cameron Cairns. How are you doing, Cameron?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Not too bad. I was going to bring Danny in, Mr. Danny White. Danny, good to have you on. How are we doing?
I'm good, thank you, Mark. Yourself?
Yes, slightly disappointed on the football side, but it is what it is. We are where we are, and obviously I'm hoping that maybe Wolverhampton will be announced. You might have signed for all we know, and the club might announce it later on, but we'll talk more about that. I feel I'll start tonight's show talking about outgoings, really. Obviously, the most high-profile exit, Ben Sheaf, rumoured fee was £6.5 million to Wrexham. Obviously, we know he's gone to Wrexham. But Danny, what's your overriding feelings about the Sheaf deal? A good deal for you? Happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, he's been here 5 years. He's been a key player for us, but the last sort of 18 months, he really hasn't been the player he was originally. He's missed a lot of games through injury, misses 25% of every season through injury. And he just seems to have injury after injury, niggle after niggle. I think when he came on against Hall and lasted, I don't know, I think it was a couple of minutes. He came on, then came off. I think that was a bit of almost a final straw, really, for us to sort of say, if there's any offers for him, then let's get rid of him. I mean, I think he's got until next year left on his contract. I think we've got an option on him as well. But £6.5 million, really, for someone who we paid £750,000 isn't bad. His stock was high, I think, after the the semi-final against Man United. But his stock has sort of dropped. But I was more happy for him to go with a replacement was in mind, and I haven't seen a replacement yet, to be honest, although it's still time to announce deals. So I'm just hoping something can happen today, and there's someone we've got in as his sort of replacement, and there's a bit of a backup in that midfield.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could argue. I know. I mean, what I would say is we've got backup players in quantity, but maybe not backup players in quality. I think is the thing for me. You've got Eccles, you've got Jamie Allen, Kai Andrews, who have all kind of featured predominantly in the cup games this season. But I'm a bit sceptical about, if we get a couple of injuries to key players. I mean, they are experienced Championship players, but they're not players that are going to win you games of football. I think they're good, honest, hard-working players that will give you 100%, and they'll give you the minimum that you want as a supporter. But they're not sort of players who can change a game. That's just my view on that. But yeah, I'm a bit. I would say if Wolfenberg does get announced, I would say it's probably been a 5 out of 10 window for me. If it doesn't get announced, I'm going to say at least a 4 out of 10. I think it's been really disappointing, really. Cameron, sort of bring you in about Sheaf. He's been a really good servant for the football club, no doubt, and I wish him well. We all wish him well, all things Sky Blue, because he's done a really good job for the club. But do you think the deal was a good deal for all parties?
I think so, yeah. I think, especially in the last 6 months or so when Grimesy came in, I think the club was just evolving and moving away from Ben anyway. Ben's been great, but it was obvious that his body was starting to betray him. He just couldn't play a string of games. He'd pull up injured. Grimes is very much is the main number 6 now. I don't think Sheaf can play alongside him, just because you play with a double pivot, you leave a massive gap in the midfield, and that leaves you very exposed to counter-attacks. And I'm not convinced on Sheaf as a number 8. I just don't think he's got the athleticism for that. So I think it was time for all parties to move on. I think Wrexham have got a top quality player if he can remain fit. And I think we get a nice chunk of change. Whether we get a midfielder in on time, because I believe you get an extra 2 hours to complete paperwork. We'll see. If we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. But I think it was best Ben moved on. But thank you for everything, because he has been a fantastic servant.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think he's been a brilliant servant, and wish him well, apart from when he plays against us. Glenn, some guy called Glenn's got a question for you, Danny, about, he's asking, are we banging trouble?
No, I think I said before the season, I think we were a top 6 team. Again, it's just come to that. I mean, I don't really want to say anything, because we haven't even announced the centre-back who we're signing. So part of me thinks we have got something up our sleeves. So I don't want to be sort of too reactive. I always feel this way on transfer deadline day, where you always feel you're a player short and things like that. But I do think the way we've started the season, the goals we're scoring, we will push for top 6 again. But it's just it's like what Duck King said. He said we want that icing on the cake, and that, I think that's what we need. But we've certainly got players who can match last season's finish. But let's just see what happens, because we've got another couple of hours where they could announce things. So let's see what they're doing behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, no, that's a good comment. Another player departure, obviously from the window, Cameron, was Louis Binks. What was your thoughts on that one? I mean, I was of the opinion that it was another good deal by the club, and I'm hoping that Wolverhampton will come in. But do you think it was the right time to cash in on him?
I think it was. I think it was obvious towards the end that I think, against similar to Ben, but to a bigger extent, he was just going to get less and less game time. Kitching was improving game after game. Louis Binks just wasn't really. And I just think that goal that Luton scored, where he tried to clear it, but if anything, he had to go into the net. I think that was the final straw, and I think it was just a case where, okay, it might not work for him in the Championship. I think going abroad in a country like Denmark, which I think that league will generally play more to his strengths as it is, I think it was a good move for him. We've made a nice bit of profit on what we bought him for. It'll only be frustrating if we don't get that centre half in, because even though I think it was the right time to cash in on players, you've always got to get that replacement. So fingers crossed, he'll be replaced by 9 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, I'm hoping that Wolverhampton will be announced. I mean, Danny, for you with Binks, I thought he was a good player in possession of the ball, played some lovely passes, but I felt his defensive work was a little bit found wanting, in my opinion. I mean, I look back, for example, at the Luton game last season, where he sort of switched off for their goal. Obviously, it was partly Collins' fault as well. But what was your sort of overall impressions of Binks' time at the club?
Yeah, it was good money. I think we got a bit more than our money back for him. He just seemed to lose a lot of battles when he was playing duels. I've said it in a few chats. I don't know how many clean sheets he kept in his time here, but it wasn't many at all. Yeah, I think he had a couple of good cross-field passes, which I think clouded people's judgment a little bit, because they just sort of thought he was better than he was. And he done that tackle at Wembley on, I think it was Bruno Fernandes or someone, and I can't remember who it was now. He clattered into somebody, and then he sort of almost gets hero status for something like that. And I think, yeah, Cam's right. He's probably suiting the level he's playing at the moment over in Denmark. I mean, he started off really well. I think they came back from 3-0 down in a European game and won, I think, 4-0. But I've just recently looked at their results, and the team he's playing in Brøndby have conceding 2-3-2 in their last 3 games. And so it doesn't seem to be going that swimmingly in these last couple of games. And he just doesn't keep clean sheets whenever I've seen him play. He's more like a luxury player. He just doesn't do the defensive basics enough for me. So it was definitely the right decision to get red.
Yeah. Got some more comments in, and please keep my comments in. Thank you for all your comments as well. Glenn, just on Sheaf, going back to Sheaf, he said he was sad that my memories of Sheaf would be the penalty miss against United in the semi-final, mistake against Tottenham for the winner, and also the 7 minutes against Hull. Maybe he should have gone after the Wembley defeats. to the Premier League. Although, I mean, some of the things he did, I remember that. I mean, I've seen a few clips on the X social media channels. That fantastic pass against Luton, I think, in the playoff season, with that diagonal pass to the Gyökeres that he ran through and scored at Kenilworth Road and things like that. And he did the simple things well. So yeah, he did a really good job, and I think he will be he's definitely respected by the supporters. Looking at the other outgoings, Cameron, another player obviously has gone out on loan is Norman Bassette. I guess that's another right decision for all passes. He didn't seem like he fit into Lampard's plans. Do you think there's more to come from him? Do you think he's still got a future at the club?
I think in terms of his club's future, but I'd say that's more in Rems's hands than ours, because I was reading on the Rems website that they actually have an option to purchase him at the end of the season. So if he does so well, say he gets a load of goals, they get promoted, they might have the option to buy. So even if we're like, oh, hang on, we kind of want to keep him, it might not be in our hands anymore because we've given him that option to buy. But I think it's a good move for him. He's gone to a club that they've just been relegated from Liga, so they'll be determined to make that immediate return to the top flight. A couple of seasons before that, they were on the fringes of Europe when they were being managed by Will Still. So he's joining a good club with ambition to return to the top flight. If he's going to be a focal point of those plans, I really hope it works out for him, because if he does, if he sorts the mental side of his game out, I think Rams have got a very good player, because even if he doesn't have a good career at Coventry, I think he will if he puts his mental side of the game in the right place.
Yeah. Danny, what do you think has gone wrong with Bassette at Cov? Is it because Lampard doesn't rate him, or do you think it's his attitude, or a combination of both?
I don't know. Something's obviously happened in the background. I mean, I know when he came to us, he had an issue at his previous club. I think he almost went on strike for them before he came to us. So he's obviously got a bit of a volatile personality. I mean, he's only young. I think he came to us when he was 19, I think, or 20. But something's obviously happened in the background, and he must be something in training he's been doing. Because to start with, under Lampard, he was playing matches. Under his first sort of couple of months, Lampard was leading the line, and he had that great game in the Robins in the cup match against Spurs. He had the sort of incident with Sheffield United when he scored the goal, and then he got the man sent off, and he scored at Portsmouth. But there were just a few little glimpses, really. He just didn't look like he was going to be the player we needed, or it was a bit too early for him. But I think he's finished here at Cov, unless he scores a load of goals and comes back and Lampard's not in charge and there's a new manager, and new manager takes everyone as a sort of at the beginning again, and he gets another chance. But I hope he scores goals and things like that, because it benefits us, because we're going to get our money back for him, or maybe command a fee somewhere else at another club, because he's still an unknown player. He's still like 20 years of age. You don't really know what, because there was all sorts of rumours that Newcastle were looking at him, just little things on X. So there's obviously a player in there somewhere, but I just think he needs to go somewhere and get his head down and score a few goals, and then sort of see what happens.
Do you think the case, possibly, I'm just playing devil's advocate, that the system we play with, like the one up front with the sort of number 10 and sort of supporting, do you think that might not be playing to Bassette's strengths? Maybe do you think he might be better playing as a 2 with someone else? Maybe I'm just
possibly, because at times he did look like he was frustrated and chasing lost causes and losing it with like silly free kicks and fouls and. He did look clever in times. He was trying some clever passes, and that game against Spurs, I thought this lad is going to be amazing for us. Yeah. But then he just sort of fell off a cliff, and you'd thought under Lampard you should be raising your game, not sort of dropping your game. But I just don't think it was. I think it was always a gamble, that signing. I think it was a couple of £1 million. It was never going to be a sort of a risk of a signing, because it was just it's not like a 5-6 million signing. It's just a risky signing which could pay off, and unfortunately it didn't. We just need to make sure we get our money back on him.
Yeah. I think as I say, I think it's another move. I think that suits all parties, and obviously wish him well. Right, it's got a few more comments. Glenn's Frank is pulling a Mowbray and sets the bar sets the bar too high for us regarding signings. It's unobtainable. Ryan Evans, he's just clarifying that we've actually got until 9 o'clock tonight to get contract signed. So hopefully we buy one loan free agent, but at the moment it looks like the defender's the only one in the squad with us, with the Fringe squad. Looking, I mean, Cameron, Danny alluded to the fact that he feels that we've still got a good chance of top 6 this season with this current squad. I mean, let's assume Wolfenden is signed. How confident are you feeling right now with the players we've got at the moment?
Yeah, I'm still confident that the squad can achieve a top 6 finish. The squad, it's already very similar to last season, which made the top 6 in its own right. I think certain personnel, at least early doors, have shown like they've shown improvement. Torp in particular, Brandon Thomas-Asante, Haji Wright is back on form. I think my only concern is that it might be a struggle to challenge for automatic promotion, because I think that requires a lot of consistency. Whether that squad will have that consistency required, I'm not sure it will. I think we might need more enforcements for that to happen. But in terms of the top 6 squad, I still think it's capable, especially at home. I think we can still beat the majority of sides at home.
Yeah. Now Ryan's come back. Another question about free agents. I'll just bring it up. I missed the question. I'll go for you, Cameron. We'll go to Danny after. Would you guys have the free agents? Jack Colback, I guess that's at Mikel Antonio and Bamford. Antonio left wing, Bamford striker. He's seen at Chamberlain. I think that's Oxlade-Chamberlain possibly as a free. Be a decent replacement for Sheaf. We need more in. It's been a frustrating window. Do you think there's a market? Is that a market, Cameron? Do you think maybe Lampard could exploit maybe the free market?
I think you can always look at the free market. With Antonio and Bamford, I think they are non-starters. I don't think we will go for them. Oxlade-Chamberlain, when he's fit, he could probably still play in the Premier League. The problem is, it could be a case where it's just another bench Sheaf, but you're paying more wages because he's had a lot of injuries in recent years as well.
Yeah. Danny, what's your thoughts on the free market? Do you think that's an avenue that Doug or Frank?
I'm not a fan of the free market. It depends on how fit the players are. If the players have been training, or I'm gonna guess they're keeping themselves ticking over. But for me, pre-season's key. Like, if you have a good pre-season, then that's what starts you off every season. Getting people like Antonio and Bamford, is their heart really in coming to play for a championship team and things like that? I don't see it happening because of their wages anyway. I'm not a fan of it because I just think I think they'll pick up little niggly injuries and things like that, and you're just spending money and you're not really going to get any value for money. So for me, it's a no. The free agent, you should be getting your deals done now. You should have all your players in place before today. Basically, you've had long enough to sort it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, and I agree. I don't think they'll go for the free signings option. I think Bamford, he didn't do a lot for Leeds last year. I think he's on the bench predominantly. I think in the championship. Antonio he's had a lot of injuries and obviously well documented some of the incidents he's been involved with. So for me, that's a non-starter. But yeah, I don't. There's no real name that springs to my mind that I think, gosh, well, we should get him on a free. I could be. If someone wants to comment with suggested names, then please do. Obviously, I guess the one transfer, the one that maybe got away, so we're led to believe, Cameron, was Hughes. Obviously, the whole city captain, Charlie Hughes. I mean, I thought when he played for Hull against us at the start of the season, I have to say I thought he was their best player. But that's only one game that I've seen him. Have you seen him play? Would he have been a good fit for Coventry City? Do you think £10 million is way too much money, or do you think Doug could have got the cash out and just got him in for whatever the price?
I think it was. I think it would have been a very good signing. I think he was very impressive against us, but I think he was very impressive for a lot of last season as well. It was his first season of a championship. He got better as it progressed. This season he's done okay. I think he made a mistake against Bristol City, but if he didn't make mistakes, he'd be in the Premier League by now. 10 million. I think 10 million because you've got to remember, like, just prices in the transfer market are going up year on year. I think 10 million. I think for a player of his caliber and the player he could become, it could be a good investment. But I think after it got to a certain point, it was probably game over. And if anything, fair play to Hull, because it's hard for Championship clubs to be that stubborn for that much money. So I can't help but respect it. In my own gut, we didn't get our man.
No. What's your opinion on Charlie Hughes, Danny? Would you been happy to see him through the door?
Yeah, but I just think there was a limit, really. You can't. Some of the money that I think we bid up to 10 million, maybe slightly less. You've then got to be sensible about it and think, this isn't Football Manager. You're going to keep on bidding and bidding, because they were saying how his value was going to be double in, I don't know, a year or so's time. But if you're pushing 12, 13 million pound, and then with add-ons, then you need to be selling him for sort of 18 million to get your money back. So I think we hit a level where we thought, right, we'll park this now. But I suspect we'll go back in January for him, because if Hull are sort of down the bottom of that table and not really doing a lot and looking like they may go down, because I think they are going to be in that bottom six, then it might give us a better chance in January of getting in, because Hull will be thinking, are we going to be in this division? And the player might be a bit unhappy about where the club are. So I think we've just sort of gone for him, and then I think we've just gone in for this other guy at Ipswich. Just thought he's probably going to be the option we need to go for now, and we'll look at Hughes next year in January time.
Yeah, I think I agree with what you say about the figure. I mean, £10 million for a club like us is a huge amount of money. Although thinking about it, we recouped a lot of money today, haven't we? Really, so you could say we could have splashed the cash on one player, but I think it would have put. I think that kind of money does put a lot of pressure on one individual. But he does look a decent player. But I'll be honest, I've only really seen him one game, and he was named player of the season by Hull as well. So clearly he's got good attributes. I thought it was solid back on that game of the season at our place, and also he's a Man City prospect. So Man City come from the Man City ranks, I believe, as well. So he's got a really good pedigree, similar to. Obviously, another player that went away was Callum Doyle. Although I don't even know if we were seriously in for Callum Doyle, but that's another story. But so I think that's most of the outgoings. I mean, let's look at sort of, I guess, the fringe players that have been moved on. Abikwu Cameron has gone to Lincoln on loan. Is this a make or break for him now? Do you think if he does well, does he? Is it a time now where in his career that Lampard might look at him and think, is this, he's got to reprove that he's ready for Championship football, or do you think they'll be patient with him?
I think it depends on how it goes. I think, firstly, the club he's joining, Lincoln, I think he's joining a really good club. The last 3 seasons, they finished 11th, they finished 7th, then they finished 11th again. So they're consistently in and around that playoff race. They're just looking to break in and get that one step further. Then who knows what can happen in playoffs? It's a total lottery. I think it's Michael. I can't pronounce his second name, but is it Scubala? He's the Lincoln manager. He's done a very good job. He was someone I was interested in. Yeah. He was someone I was interested in when Mark Robbins had left the club. They have got an experienced striker in James Collins, who's very, very experienced. If they can give him a service, and if Abikwu can stay fit, I think Abikwu could get 15 plus in League One. His biggest strength is his finishing. He's a very good finisher. He's shown that at Grimsby. It's just he's got to stay fit, because injuries did compromise his campaign last year.
Yeah.
Make or break, I think it really depends. If he can stay fit, if he can get at least 15 goals, then I think he might sign an extension, or time will tell.
Yeah. Have you seen much of Abikwu, Danny?
No, I think I've seen him in a game. I'm sure I went to watch Cov versus MK Dons 2 years ago in a pre-season friendly, and I think he came on there and looked quite handy. But I think it's just he's done okay League Two. He had a couple of injuries, and I think now it's just like a step up to League One and see where he is really. And if he can do something this season, then I think he'll earn a new deal. But if it doesn't work out for him, then I think he could be moved on when his contract ends next year. But it's a good chance for him in League One to sort of rack the goals up, and I'll be keeping an eye out on how he's getting on. So hope he does well over there.
Yeah, I think it's a really good move for him. I think, as you say, playing at a league above last season, so I think that's really good for him. And yeah, if he scores goals, I hope that he might come into the plans for next season, because I look at our strikers and I think, what we've got at the moment. We've got Hadji Wright, who is our best striker. Ellis Sims, for me, is very well. He's more cold than hot. He doesn't score goals. To be fair, he did do. I thought he had a decent game in Millwall, in fairness, but not been on form for a long time now. And then obviously got BCA who can play in that position as well. But I think it's a position that you could argue is a little bit light as well. Although we do tend to play one up front, so I think I'd like another defender and striker, because I think it would give Lampard the option of playing, maybe switching formation if we have to, really. So yeah. Okay, so let's just focus on the players that have come into the club. I'm just trying to think, we missed any more outgoings. I think I know Ryan Howley went to Bristol Rovers as well, which I think he went on a free transfer as well, and obviously Jack Burrows went to Northampton, so they were sort of fringe players. Looking at the players that have signed, Isaac Oswald, what can we say?
Isaac Moore went to Forest Green on loan, as did Aidan Dausch.
Isaac Moore. Yeah, Aidan Dausch, yes, that's right, yeah. In terms of players coming in, obviously we brought in Carl Rushworth on a 6-month loan. I looked at him. I don't know what your thoughts are, Danny, on Rushworth. I looked at him pre-season. I thought, yeah, this guy. First game, I thought, yeah, this guy looks a decent keeper. He looks a bit of a step up from Collins. Then the second game, I think it was against.
Was it Betis?
No, Betis. I thought he had a good game. I think it was the German side. I forgive me. I think
St. Pauli.
St. Pauli, that's right. Yeah. He didn't have a great game. He was at fault for a couple of goals, but in terms of league season, okay, he kept one clean sheet against Hull. He didn't have much to do. He did what he did do was fine. But then I look at games like, for example, even the QPR game 7-1, he probably should have done better for the goal that the QPR scored at the death. And when I look at the Oxford game, okay, the first goal, it hits his chest, and I think the defenders could have bailed him out in trouble and cleared it out for a corner or something. But the second goal, for me, gets completely caught out of position. You could argue that Bobby Thomas should be doing better on the wall as well and position himself better and not turn his back on the ball. But even with all that, he didn't really get across quickly enough to push it away or save it. Do you think that obviously we've got Dovin's come back, but that's not until really the new year? I mean, what's been your impressions of Rushworth so far?
That's me, Mark. Sorry,
that's for you, Dan. Yeah, that's for you, Dan. Sorry.
Hit and miss, really. First game against Hull, I don't think he had anything to do. I think he saved one when it was offside. I think he just hit him and he made a good save. Second game against Derby, I think the goal they scored, he should be saving, just go straight through him. The penalty, I don't think he got a chance for the penalty. And then the third, I don't think he could really do a lot with that. The goal against QPR, he doesn't claim his box. He comes and goes. I think he thinks the ball's going out for a goal kick. So that wasn't great. But then we don't defend second balls, really. We lose the back post header, then we lose it in the penalty area. And then Saturday, for me, he needs to push that ball out. The first one, he needs to be pushing the ball out wide, not into attacking defenders. And although he's not held by the wall for the second goal, I still think he should be saving that free kick. Really, at his near post, he just didn't get to it quick enough. But I think he'll be good. I think he'll be. It's just teething problems, really. Like we had it with Dovin. You come to a new club, and it's difficult for them to settle in and things like that. And I think once he's settled in, played enough games, because he's not played mass amounts of games in his career. But there must be a player in there that they wanted £6 million for him, didn't they? And they weren't going to release him. Yeah. And he won. I think he won Swansea's Player of the Year a couple of seasons back. So there's a goalkeeper in there, and I think he just needs to calm down a little bit. But it's not been it hasn't been the greatest of starts because I think it was the friendly game where he tried to play out from the back and got caught out then. So it's sort of been a bit of a knock-on effect of that game for his first few games with Cov. But I'm confident he'll do well and keep clean sheets and save us enough points than points he'll lose for us.
Yeah. I think he will. I think there is a keeper there in him. I think he has made some good saves in some of the games I have seen, like point blank shots. But he has been at fault for some of the goals. But yeah, I think he just maybe this sort of international break might serve him good. I mean, could you look deeper into the problem? Look at Aled Williams' position as coach, because that's a lot of the comments that I've been reading on social media about. You look at the goalkeepers we've had, where there's always seems to be a mistake in every keeper. You know, Ben Wilson. Obviously, we haven't talked about Brad Collins. Obviously, he's gone out on loan and spoke about that, but he's obviously been sent on that loan for a reason. How concerned are you with the goalkeeping situation, Cam? We've got Rushworth obviously in goal. Are you concerned with that position still, or do you think Rushworth will come good?
I think Rushworth will come good. I think a couple of years ago he was very good at Swansea. He signed for Hull, didn't play much because I believe the moment I think he played a couple of games and then he got injured. And then Ivor Pandor came in and did really, really well. So even when he was ready, he wasn't going to get in because you can't drop a keeper on form. He was, I believe, he was second choice of Brighton for a time, and he's come here. I think there's teething issues, but I think he's also shown that there's a good goalkeeper. Because he even though he made that mistake against St. Pauli, I don't really get nervous when he's got the ball at his feet. I'm quite confident that he'll be okay. I just think sometimes his positioning it's a bit questionable at times, but I think, like I say, teething problems. I think when he gets to know his teammates better, which he's got an extra 2 weeks to do, I think he'll get better as his loan goes on. It's going to be one of them where I think he grows into the side. Yeah,
fair enough. Right, so I've got some more questions and keep them coming in. Thank you to everyone listening. Please keep your questions coming in. It's really, really appreciated. Glenn's come back and is asking, which one player would you have wanted to sign for Cov who's joined another championship club? Start with you, Danny. Who would you go for?
Oh, who's joined another championship? There's a good one. There's been some decent ones, isn't there? They keep on hearing about the is it Smallbone from Southampton, but I don't know if that one's gone through.
I think it's gone to Birmingham.
Yeah, he was linked with them, but I don't know if that one has actually gone through. For me, there's been a lot of signings in the Championship where they just I'm not really excited about them. Like, for instance, Derby have signed a load like Bedfordton Diaz, and I just think a lot of the signings have been sort of journeymen, if you know what I mean. And they've not been, which is why I think sometimes we struggle to bring players in, because we are, like what Glenn said, we are picky. We want top players, but the issue we've got is we're not a top Premier League or a top 2 or top 3 Championship club, so we do struggle to get those sort of players through the door. So there isn't really someone major I'm really struggling that I'd really want him, but it's just a lot of average. So I think Middlesbrough signed a guy. I don't really know a lot about him, but I know they paid 18 million quid. Man City did, and they've loaned him out. I don't know who that guy is, but if the Man City spending 18 million pound on a youngster and loaning him out to a Championship club, then the lad's got up a bit about him. So yes.
What about you, Cam? Who would you have liked to have seen represent Cov?
Tanganga for me, the ex-Millwall defender who's just got to Sheffield United. I think he was fantastic last season. Genuinely, I think he was one of, if not the best defender in the Championship. I think he was that good. I believe there was like a £1 million release clause that Premier League clubs could have triggered, but they decided not to trigger in the end. But and then Sheffield United come in, and then I think Millwall kind of felt their hand was forced. Okay, they can make Salih for 9 million instead of losing him for $1 million. I think that would have completely transformed Coventry defensively. I think Tanganga is that good. He was at Tottenham.
I seen him on Saturday against played against Borough, and he was Sheffield United's best player. I don't know why we didn't go in for him if he's that cheap. And I think he played for. I'm sure he played for Spurs.
He did, yes.
And he dropped down, I think, to sort of prove himself. But I just don't know why we haven't gone in for a play like that. He would have been a real good signing for us, I reckon.
I also think he'd been a starter as well. We're not talking about somebody who's going to come to Coventry just to make up the numbers. He's a proper defender at that championship level. I look back to the Millwall game when they came to us in that boring 0-0 draw last season. Again, he was really, really good at the back, commanding, strong. That's someone I want to see in our back four. And this is the thing that frustrates me about our squad, because I look at our attacking options. We've got so much talent going forward. I think we're one of the best sides going forward in the championship. But our defence, I feel, is going to let us down this season. And I'm just frustrated that we haven't been able to bring in any bodies in that position. Not just any bodies, of course, bodies of quality. And Tanganga is an example of that. It's just frustrating that the only thing I could think of, maybe Sheffield United maybe are offering more money. That's the only thing I could think of why he would go to them. But that is frustrating. And I suppose Callum Doyle, would anyone like to see Callum Doyle at the club? If it wasn't Tanganga, it was definitely a name that I would have liked. But do you think Wrexham got a good signing there for him, or do you think it's always a good player? The deal that Man City have got is not a good deal for Wrexham. What was your thoughts on Doyle? Go to you, Danny, first.
Yeah, it would have been a great deal, but then I think when people seen what the deal actually was and how Man City could buy him back, and it doesn't really give you any confidence, because our model is buy young, develop and sell on. So if they've already got a price agreed to buy him back for, and they've got a certain percentage of the sell on, and I just don't think we probably weren't even in for the guy, to be honest. I think it was all talk, all people on social media saying we're after certain players, and we probably weren't even after the guy, to be honest. He was a great when he was here. He was unbelievable at that age when he was at the centre or the left of our defence in that season, where at the beginning it was really ropey and we had pitch issues and the club was a bit of a mess. He really showed his maturity for a young lad, but I think we've burnt our bridges with him. I think we've had a few games where we've given him a bit of stick at Norwich, a bit of Leicester, and I think he's gone to Wrexham probably for money, because they're just money bags, Wrexham. And I think there was sort of murmurings it was closer to home as well. Yeah. Obviously, Manchester lad, it's not a million miles away from Manchester, is it, Wrexham? So it probably suited him, but yeah, we just move on from that one now.
Yeah. What was the question I've got? I saw. So, Karen, I had a question here about the academy. Is there anywhere else in the academy that could push for a first team squad? And that's from your average Cov fan. Thank you for the question.
In a few years' time, I think Isaac Moore could. I think he's very impressive. He's got a lot going for him. I think the reason why he's in the National League rather than the AFL is just because of that injury record when he was a youth player. He had 2 horrible knee injuries. So it's just a case, okay, you've got to try and stay fit, and then maybe bigger moves are ahead. Aidan Dausch is always very impressive. I'm just concerned about his injury record, though, because he's had a couple of hamstring issues now. If he puts out behind him, I think he's got a future. Obviously, Kai Andrews goes without saying. I think he's going to be a stalwart for Coventry in the coming years. Yeah, Moore and Dausch particularly stand out to me, in my opinion. And Callum Perry, he goes under the radar a little bit, but he's been quietly impressive for years in the under-21s, and hopefully we can sort out a loan for him, because I think he deserves better than just hanging around in the under-21s, not getting first team minutes.
Do you think Perry will eventually get a loan move? Because I mean, right now I don't see him featuring unless we get maybe the FA Cup. Obviously, it's not for a while yet. But do you think he's just a player that's just going to be sitting on the bench? I mean, that's just my perception. Even with a couple of injuries, he's not. You feel he's not ready for the first team football yet?
No, not yet. And I think that's the annoying thing, because he'll be on the bench at times, but it's obvious that he's not going to be used, because I think if Lampard thought he was ready, he wouldn't be playing Bidwell as the cover centre back, and he's thought, no, I don't think you're ready yet. I'd rather play Bidwell right now. Yeah. So I think that Ascatalian signing needs to go out on loan. If you can't get an EFL move to loan tonight, I'm pretty sure non-league players can still sign players. So maybe a short-term loan in the National League might be what he needs.
Yeah. Just change up a little bit, going back to sort of arrivals at the club. Obviously, we signed Kane Kessler-Hayden for £4 million with Villa. Miguel Angel Brau was on a free from Granada. Danny, what's your thoughts on those two signings? Obviously, Kessler-Hayden has played a couple of games in the Cups, and I think he might have made one league appearance for the substitute, possibly. I can't remember now. But what's your initial impressions of both players?
Hit and miss, really, but they haven't really been given much game time. I think Kessler-Hayden would be brilliant for us. He won all of Preston's awards last year, scooped everything for him. It's just been difficult at the moment because I don't know if he was a backup for Milan going, but Milan's obviously staying, so his game time's been limited. But I think he'll be fine, and I think he will get matches, and he will do really well for us. And then Brau, I think again he's played a couple of games in the cup and minutes here and there in the league, and again he's a young lad. A bit all signings really are youngish lads, things like that. So they're going to take time to adapt. He's come to a new country. He seems like he's got good English and things like that. So hopefully he settles in quite well. And I think it just takes time. New signings take time. They're not really going to. Some of them will sort of hit the ground running, but I think these are three which could take a sort of 10, 15 games and then grow during the season. But I do think the three we've signed are good signings on paper. Yeah. And definitely the two in Brau and Kessler-Hayden fit our model of buying young, developing and selling on for big profits.
And yeah, and I think I guess that's one area of the squad where we have got a plethora of options, is those sort of left back, wing backs sort of position. I mean, even if Efrel Mason-Clark got injured, you could maybe even move a De Silva or a Brau further forward as a sort of, in that position. So we seem to have issues on the flanks. I think obviously everyone knows it's defensively at the centre back specifically that we are a bit short. And I guess Cameron, look just on the theme of wing backs. I mean, I think one of the big plus this window is that Milan hasn't gone, which is fantastic news, because I think we're all sitting here thinking that Milan was going to be playing abroad somewhere. I think like in Germany or wherever. That's a great thing that we've still got him though. That's a big tick in the box.
Yeah, 100%. I had it in my head all summer that Sunderland game. I thought, okay, this is the last time we're going to see him. I had it in my head. I was preparing to go. And when Kessler-Hayden signed, I'm like, okay, this is good. Okay, Milan's going. We're preparing for it early. This is good from the club. But to my surprise, he's still here. I'm glad he's still here, by the way, because he started the season really well. And if anything, we are blessed with two top right backs in the Championship. And if Milan struggles for a couple of games, you're not going to have that luxury where, okay, you've been playing poorly, but we can't drop you. If you play poorly, you're going to be dropped. If you're a bit exhausted, okay, you can set up this game. Kessler-Hayden can come in, and vice versa. And with Brau, he was very impressive in Spain last season. He took the place of a long-serving captain at his last club. He's not played many minutes for us so far. However, I think in the minutes he's played, I believe he has maximised them. I think he's looked quite decent. He's not done anything that wows you, but know that there's a good player there, and the wowness will probably come later. He's very, very good on the ball, very composed on the ball, which is what you expect from a player from Spain. That's kind of what they're known for. And that's why they win so many big tournaments. Yeah. I think as the season progresses, I could see Brau taking De Silva's spot. I just think De Silva's in a position where he finishes the season strongly. he started this season somewhat well, I think. So I
Yeah.
think it's a case where Brow's got to bide his time and be patient, but I think his time will come as it progresses.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think at the moment, that side of the team, the squad is in rude health. Yeah, I was going to read out a few more comments. Just going back to the points about Rushworth, Glenn was saying that it's a different story playing for Walsall and Swansea. They're moving to Cobb. It's a lot bigger club and more pressure and bigger crowds. He said that it was Nypen, who's the lad from Man City. I think he's gone to, is it Middlesbrough? Was it? I think we said, wasn't it?
I think he went to Middlesbrough. Yeah, I think that Man City paid a fortune for him, so he must be good.
Yeah. Pay Gagon. Sorry, I have poor pronunciation, probably by me. Okay, so he said that we're disappointed, but do you think we've made progress from last season? Danny, I mean, I guess the progress would be, well, I guess first and foremost, we've got a ground now to play out. We've got a ground that we own, more to the point, which is obviously we haven't really talked much about, but that's one massive positive. But in terms of the playing side, are you still feeling that we've made progress overall, or do you think we're a bit weaker now? Assuming that Wolford didn't sign, let's assume he signed.
I don't know. I still think we haven't got the depth we need, to be honest, which has been the case for a while now. We've strengthened the goalkeeper. You'd probably say it's a better goalkeeper. We had Dov in the beginning of last season, and we've got a backup right back we needed. And if this lad from Ipswich signs, we've got another centre half in, which he's got to be better than what Binks was. So I think we've shored up a little bit in defence. I hope, but at the moment the goals against aren't sort of helping because we're conceding 2 a game as we always normally do. But I still think you lose a player, you lose Redoni, you lose Wright, you lose Grimes. Everyone says Grimes has played 300 games. He never gets injured. You lose Grimes. I mean, who you playing in midfield? You then using your likes of Eccles and you're losing Allen and things like that. But a lot of teams work on this sort of fringe players. Even Premier League, sometimes they lose a key player and that hits them hard. If the window shuts and we've signed this centre half, I probably think it's a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's great at all. I still think we're short. I still think we've got money we could spend. For me, we've sold Sheaf for 6.5. We've sold Binks for 3 million or so, so that's almost 10. We've got money in for Vic, which was about 2 million quid. Yeah. You've got season tickets. We've sold sponsorship. That's over 20 million, and we've spent probably 10. So we're in credit. I know that people will say, "Oh, we've got the CBS and things like that," but I don't think the CBS is part of our playing budget. That'd be a totally different budget. So I am a little bit underwhelmed, to be honest, because I think a couple of injuries again, it kills us. But I do think our sort of 12, 13, 14 players we've got are decent, but we hit a run of 3 games in a week and pick up some injuries, and then you're playing some players that really are sort of squad players. I always look at the bench, but I mean, I look at Saturday and we had Kesler Hayden, we had Sims, we had Brow, we had sort of numerous players on that bench on Saturday, and Sakamoto, and Lampard didn't do anything with it. No. So to me, I thought that was almost a finger up to King saying, I need a few bodies through the door, but obviously it hasn't materialised. But I just think I always have this feeling every window. I think every fan does. You always want more, and once that window closes, I think you just accept what you've got, and look, it could be worse. It isn't a bad squad, to be honest, but I do think we should have got at least another one through the door. But we might have got that player through the door because we haven't even announced any deals at the moment. So no. You may sign 2.
Well, and also the club haven't said we've concluded business for this window. It's all type of message.
For me, if we had signed the guy from Ipswich, then why aren't you announcing it?
Yeah.
Which makes me think, are they doing this might be me just being optimistic, are they doing a double sort of video for the two players that are signed? Because he had his medical, he was having a medical this morning. Surely the fee would be easy to agree. His wages, I can't see being an issue. That deal should have been announced ages ago. So is it a case of the admins trying to do trying to be clever and do a sort of a double deal? Normally we do announce our signings before the deadline. I know you get that additional hour. I think you did it when it was 11 o'clock. You had that extra hour, but I've never known us to do this before.
No.
I believe it's 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah. I mean, the one thing it's just annoying is that it's the hype. Like I think King was saying, "Oh, we're going to get the icing on the cake" and things like that. And I think maybe that built fans up, and reporters sort of saying, "Oh, 2, 3 coming through the door, it's going to be busy," and that just builds fans' hopes up, doesn't it? Really, and it's just it's been a normal transfer window day for me, where you wake up in the morning expecting loads and very little happens, unfortunately.
But you never know. Deals could be announced after the show finishes. We're all a bit miserable at the moment, but you never know. It could change. And I think Glenn makes that point on the chat saying it's deals can be fired by 9 o'clock. I could see the message.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, I agree with your point. I mean, every team is going to say, "Oh, I wish I want one more player in." I mean, unless you're Liverpool, you could spend as much money as you want and bring in probably like the Galacticos. We're Coventry City. No club is going to do that. But I think I can't imagine that Frank Lampard is going to be sitting here thinking, "I'm happy with this." I can't imagine that he would be happy. I'd be amazed if he is, because yes, we've sold the players that he doesn't want. The fringe players are okay. You could even say Ben Sheaf was a fringe player because he wasn't really starting games. But to not sort of, okay, we'll probably bring Wolfenden in, but to not bring anyone else in just seems strange. It just feels like we've got a weaker squad overall. But I mean, I could be wrong. We could do really well still. But I'm a bit disappointed, really. I'm going to say it's about maybe a 5 out of 10 window, in my opinion. I don't see it being any better than that. I don't think it's been a terrible window, but it's not been great either.
I mean,
but bonus is Milan staying. I think that's one big bonus for me. I think that's really good.
We've kept our stars. Yeah, we've kept Roy. We've kept Milan.
Radoni as well.
Radoni. That's great. But if someone had said to me when the window opened that you'd sign, like now, because effectively we haven't signed this Ipswich guy, you'd have signed 3 players in the summer. One of them would be a loan, one of them would be a free transfer, and one of them would be a right back, Kesler Hayden. You would have sort of been a little bit, that isn't great, if you know what I mean. And I like what we said, Lampard wants that extra person, that extra body he can bring on, or that extra quality. And for me, if we don't bring anyone in to replace Sheaf, although I agree with the fee, I think the fee's okay. To not bring someone in to replace him is just doesn't make sense for me. And if you're scrambling around trying to get a replacement in, because that deal didn't just happen yesterday, that must have been brewing for a while. And why it takes to go to the last day for transfers and just to be. I always remember that Sunderland Till I Die program where you seen the manager and the chairman in a room just panicking. And I forgot who it was now. Who did they sign? They signed a player, a striker. Will Grigg. They just panicked and just thought, right, we'll get this.
Yeah. And the manager didn't want him.
Exactly. I think, like what we said, I think our bar is so high because we've missed out on a guy, Godot, who went to Strasbourg. We missed out a while ago on Stamnich, who went to Forest and in the end didn't work out and went somewhere else. Yeah. It just seems like we go for high-end players, but I'm yet to see a high-end player sign for us, bar, I don't know, maybe Haji Wright or maybe Grimes. But we do seem to have a low, I don't know, low strike rate. And when you see Frank Lampard as your manager, you think I was expecting players would want to jump at the chance of signing. For me, it hasn't been that, and
No.
I don't really know why, because I do think the finances are there to sign players, but maybe we're keeping that powder dry for January.
Maybe. It's a bit like going to a restaurant, isn't it? And say you go for a fry up, and you might have your sausage, egg, and beans, but where's my black pudding? Where's my mushrooms? Where's my tomato? That's kind of that feeling, is it? What you've got on the plate is perfectly fine, but there's a few missing things that you just want to make it that bit better. And that's kind of what the transfer window is a bit like. Sorry, that's a poor example, but I'm kind of likening it to, a food of your choice that has a missing ingredients. And I just feel with our squad, that's where we are at the moment, isn't it? I still think it's a really good squad though overall. I don't think we should underestimate, certainly from a perspective, we've got some really talented players. Look, we've scored, abundance of goals. 14 goals in four games is fantastic. But if we can just keep them clean sheets at the other end, we will be talking about a side that can really challenge this season. But Cameron, just to sort of, I guess we're coming towards the end of the show because I know Danny's got to go soon. What's your overall feeling about the season as a whole, generally going forward? Are you still feeling optimistic as a fan?
Yeah, I think so. If there's one thing we've got that a lot of sides don't, it's continuity. It's still like effectively the same squad really, apart from a couple of players going. Okay, Sheaf is obviously the significant departure, and obviously I would have hoped that we would have got a replacement in. But there's a lot of continuity. As I say earlier, I think a lot of personnel have stepped up and are showing improvement. So I hope that continues. I also want to point out that I was told, and it's just rumours to take with a grain of salt, that Kai Andrews reportedly turned down the opportunity to go out on loan because he wants to fight for a place in the first team. He thinks he can break in this season, and he wants to show that he can do that. So I just want to say hats off to Kai Andrews, because for a young player to bet on himself like that is admirable, and I really hope he can show us that, you know what, don't worry about Sheaf going. Maybe I can step up, and I really hope he can do that.
Yeah, and fingers crossed that's. To be fair, I thought he played really well in the Luton game. I think he struggled a bit in the Millwall game, but I think and you'll know this more than me, Cam, I think his spell at Hearts did really well there, didn't he?
And Motherwell, yeah, he was very impressive.
Motherwell. I think it was Motherwell, I should have said. Yeah.
There was some games where he was on the bench, but that was nothing to do with him. They just had a certain player called Lennon Miller, and that's a player who could probably walk into the Rangers and Celtic sides. He's now at Udinese, but when he played, he maximised his minutes, looked very impressive. And he's now back in the Wales team, and he could very well make his debut next week in the international. So I'm hoping he does that.
Yeah. Okay, just quickly, I'm going to go for just quick questions to two of you. Next 3 games, obviously Norwich at home, Leicester away, Birmingham at home. With the likely squad that we've got now, maybe the addition of Wolfenden, how many points do we get in the next 3 games? I know it's a bit early to predict, it's not for a while yet, but what's your gut feeling telling you if you was to make a prediction? So, Danny, how many points do you think we'll get in the next 3 games?
I think we'll get 4. I think we'll draw at home to Norwich. We never seem to beat them, but I think we've got enough to get something at home. We were a force at home. And then Leicester. Is it Leicester after that, or is it
Leicester away? Yeah.
Leicester away. I can't see us beating Leicester, to be honest. I know they've had players that have gone, but have we ever won at Leicester? I don't know if we've ever won at that stadium before. I just think they'll be too strong, and maybe 2-1 sort of to them. But I think we'll do Blues. I watched them against Leicester. Don't think they're that great. They just pressure, and if you can work them out for the first 15, 20 minutes, then we can do them. So we seem to do okay against Blues at home. So I'd say 4 points, and I wouldn't be overly disappointed with that. But it's a tough run of games, and we've had 4 really, to be honest, easy fixtures, ranging from like 17th to 23 in the table or something. So it's been a favourable start, but this is a tester for us. But I think we do play well against the better sides at times. So 4 points for me.
4 points. Cam, what are you going for?
I'm going to go with 6 points. A defeat against Norwich, just because bogey team, we could have Barcelona's team and I think we'd still lose. And I'm going to be blindly optimistic and say we win both the derby games, because I think when it's derby day, I've always got to be optimistic. They're the enemy. So I'm going to go 1-0 Cov. I'm going to go 1-0 Cov against Leicester and against Birmingham.
Yeah.
So 6 points out of possible 9.
I said on the WhatsApp chat, I said 2 points, and I'll admit to that. I think Norwich and I think the 2 home games will be draws. I think possibly at a push, I'd say Birmingham, we've got the best chance of winning. So I'm actually going to change it to 4 points. I don't see us being Leicester either, personally. I know. I think I tell you what I rate for them. I thought Pereira was a good player, Ricardo Pereira in that midfield. I thought he was quite a strong sort of player. Although I thought, if you watched, I don't know if you watched the game against Birmingham, but I thought he should have been sent off. If you look at that challenge, that lunge where he was awful, he caught a terrible tackle. But
I think 4 wouldn't be the end of the world, to be honest. From that run of games.
It's a long season. I think that's what we know. I think we're always a bit, and I'm not guilty of it as well. We're always a bit reactive after defeat, but every team's going to drop points. I mean, I know Middlesbrough are the only team that are unbeaten, but I'm sure they'll drop points as the season goes on. But I think we can. I'm still optimistic we can have a good season. I think we're just all a little bit frustrated about. I think we want just a couple more signs, particularly at the back. I think if we did a couple more additions at the back, that would have satisfied me. If we get Wolfenden over the line, he gets announced later today, then I think you can sort of go with it. But I don't think it's what I would want as a fan. I don't think many fans would want that, to be honest. And I don't think Lampard would want that. But on the positive side, we've got a ground. We play up permanently. The CBS is home. So for me, that's the most important thing is that we've got a permanent home ground, and I think that's a major positive. That's a monumental decision there, which I want to say thanks to Doug King and all the team at Coventry City for that. So yeah. Right, I think I'll call it quits and wrap up tonight's show. So thanks, Cam, and thanks, Danny, for coming on tonight.
No problem.
Thank you for everyone listening and for all your comments. Really appreciated. We've got an IMO show, Stuart, later this week on YouTube. So stay tuned for that, and there'll be another opportunity for you to post some more questions. So yeah, just to say thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you. We'll speak to you on, I think it's Wednesday or Thursday, but we'll announce our social media channels. But thanks again, and good night.